Hey again, guys, and welcome back. I've had a rough day today, so I need something fun to do. And you guys may have your own idea of what's fun, but I like making kits. So I thought I would do this Gadget Reboot 555 timer kit. And I'm not sure why I'm doing this because it's got a whole bunch of surface mount components, so it may not be as fun as I imagine, but let's give it a shot. Before I get started though, I just want to show you that I'm going to be using a couple tools for this. First and foremost, if you remember, I had this magnifying glass kit from Banggood, so I will be wearing this, but you won't see me because I'll be zoomed in a bit more so you guys can see as well. So that's going to help. I've also melted my cutting mat before. So at the dollar store, as pile of stuff recommended, I found this. It's a hot glue gun pad, but it's just silicone. So this should be plenty good to protect from melting through my cutting mat. So that's going to be great. You guys can be staring at a pink mat. And on top of that, I think I will bring you guys in quite close because I have this puppy. This is a Nikon 105mm 2.8 f2.8 macro lens. This is the lens that I usually use to make my thumbnails, but I'll be using this to bring you guys right up close. So let me set all that up. So the focus on this is going to be razor thin. And by the way, I'm not 100% sure what this board does. I think it just does basically everything that a 555 timer typically does. But yeah, if you want to see the making of this board, definitely check out Gadget Reboot's channel. And yeah, first things first, I think I'm going to solder the 555 timers. Now I'll do my best to stay in shot and in focus, but nothing's guaranteed on this channel. Grabbing a set of pliers, I will try to open up this package. I'm starting with this 555 timer. First of all, I want to do the surface mount parts first. And second of all, I've got two of these in case one goes missing. And I'm going to start with the most crucial and hardest to lose and work my way backwards. I do have to solder some pretty small LEDs, but here we go. So 555 timer goes here. You see that little dot on the top there? Maybe you don't. Right up here in this corner, that should line up with this dot, and I will confirm that that's the case as soon as I get close enough to it to see. Alright, so the plan was going to be to put a little bit of solder on one of these pads, bring the chip over, reflow, and then solder the rest. Let's see how that goes. Adding a little bit of flux. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. Not exactly my best soldering, but not too bad. Let me bring you in close and show you that. The only thing I'm not quite happy about is this little solder ball right here. Don't forget, this is a super magnified. You guys are seeing this a lot clearer than I am. So that little solder ball right there, I think I can take care of that by just touching it with the iron. And just so you get a sense of the scale, these are millimeters. There we go. So that is a tiny pin pitch. And for you imperial types, the ones who threw the tea in the harbor, but yet still use imperial measurements. So there's I think those are 1/8 of an inch holes. I just made it way worse. We'll call that one good enough. So let's take a look at the LEDs I'm going to have to put onto this. First one up will be right up here, D1, and these things are absolutely tiny. I'm sure half of them will end up on the floor. I'm still going to give it a shot. I'm not sure why he specifically designed the board to have some SMD and some through hole. It's probably what he had in his junk bin, to be quite honest. Oh, that is absolutely tiny. Alright, so same thing. I'm going to tin the pads, and one pad at least. I'm going to do both the LED pads, and then I'm going to flow solder onto the other one with the LED there. So let's see here. And it just occurred to me that I don't actually know which side of the diode is positive and which one is negative, so that should be interesting. I do have these testing tweezers. I'm going to slot them into my multimeter. And I'm going to put my multimeter onto Diode Check. Okay, and the positive clamp is on this side, on that side, and we'll see. There we go. So positive is over on this end. It is extremely difficult to film this so close up. Okay, let's just confirm it works. So again, positive side is going to be at the top of the board. There we go. It lights, so that's the proper way to do it. So now I can just flow solder onto the other piece, the other pad I should say. And fix this one. There we go, that should be soldered. Now I need to get the green LED for here. I'm just guessing that this is the way it goes. This time I'll put positive at the bottom of the board. Over here. Yeah, seems to light. Definitely not the best soldering in the world. The positive is oriented down to the bottom of the board. And there it goes. So that one's lit. I flip it around. Oh, there we go. Takes a little bit of hardship to get this one to light. There we go. It's also lit. Okay, so let's move on to some more small components. So I can see that we have some flat pads over here. R5, R4. Is that off screen for you? R5, R4, and I think there is a capacitor to install as well. Oh, right there, C5. C5 right over there. It's sitting right there. It's non-polarized, and it should be about 100 nanofarads. I'm not going to measure it because if this doesn't work, I want there to be some doubt that it was actually my fault. It could have just been Gadget Reboot sending me the wrong parts, you know? Got to spread the blame around a little bit. So same thing, tack down one side and attack the other side. This is lead solder, but it doesn't have a lot of flux inside. I definitely don't recommend buying this brand, which is, don't know if you'll be able to tell, this guy here. Very little flux inside. I might use some Patreon money to get some good quality solder, but at the moment I have a lot of stuff and I want to use it up. That's nicely tacked down. Making sure you're still in frame. Yes, you are. Very hard to solder around this cap. Not going so well. What a mess. Let me try that again. I'm going to try to angle myself to this side of the board. I don't have a lot of flux. I don't want to spin the board around, make it easier for me, because it's going to make continuity harder for you guys to follow. And I just knock the board right out of view. So maybe I will spin it around, and you guys will just have to deal with it. Far too much solder on it now from too many bad attempts. You will notice that not only am I not an expert, I don't claim to be one either. Not the most excellent solder, but definitely passable. That is very likely connected to the board properly, which is good. It just doesn't look pretty. Don't forget, I can't really get my face on top of this because I don't want to block your view. So let's get these other resistors out. R5 and R4. R4 and R5 are both these tiny little resistors. So that cap was actually the same footprint. I think they're both 0805 or 060 something. But the cap was very tall. These resistors are very short. And so even though they may be the same or approximately the same footprint, they'll be a little bit harder to solder. I'm going to swap my tweezers with something a little bit more precise too. There's one. If you can't see it, it's right there. So imagine you guys have a close-up view. I'm very far away, but this is a cool little challenge. There's another one. It fell on the board somewhere, and I can't see it. Oh, there it is. Right there. All right, here goes. Not bad, not bad. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. I think the resistors are heating through. It's probably not a good thing. All right, not too bad. Now we have two 5K resistors to put here, R6 and R7. These are actually 5.1K, and the note says they're supposed to be 4.7. He gave me 5.1K, and he said close enough. So if it's close enough for the designer, don't give me shit for it. I told him if he just gave me a parts list, I probably had most of these parts on hand, but he wanted nothing to do with that. He wanted to send me everything, which is awfully nice of him. So I think because he's a nice guy, I think you guys should, after this video, go down in the link in the description and throw him a subscribe. That'd be great. Even comment on his videos and tell him that I sent you. Maybe he'll send more stuff. Who knows? That was my multimeter turning off, startling the heck out of me. That's not too bad. I'm going to inspect the board a little bit just to make sure there's no more SMD parts, and then we can zoom you back out and do some through-hole parts.